Hey, 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 what's going on? We are on episode 30 of Girls Night Live. I can't believe it's been 30 weeks, 30 episodes in. This is crazy. I'm missing my partner in crime tonight. She decided to take another vacation. The girl vacations more than a lot of people. But yeah, she'll be back next week. And tonight we are talking about parenting. Kind of got a little conversation going before the show. Make sure you say something so I know that you're on. Tonight I want to engage with you all. I want to talk about your parenting style. Me, I'm a single mom and shit gets hard sometimes. So you can't be everyone, but it does take a village, and I really learned the definition of that. Before we get started, please hit the like button, love, share this out so your friends can join the conversation. We're talking about parenting, single parents, not single parents, married parents. It takes a village to raise your kids, and it's hard. I mean, basically what I learned, and by the way, hello, Edgardo. I hope I didn't butcher your name. What's up, David? Thank you for joining tonight. So again, we're just talking about parenting, and I want to hear about your style, how you deal with issues. You know, I've seen everything from a really calm way of dealing with things to very, very demanding or very strict. I used to think, I'm going to pull my parenting styles back up. I found a couple different things on the four types of parenting styles. But I mean, I've tried everything. I thought, I'll tell you my theory, which was clearly you would think I was on some type of drugs when I had my daughter. I thought it was going to be some great blissful moment when really those are just the milestones. It's more of hell and stress most of the time because you have to let them know who's boss. And sometimes that's not easy. When you have, say, a Minnie Mouse voice like I do, it doesn't come across as an authoritarian. I'm going to butcher that word. It doesn't come across as a very strong, fierce word. There's really no fear there. I just kind of get laughed at. And it's really, really hard to deal with. I have to be the mom and the dad in one house. There's no, like someone said, wait until your dad gets home. There is none of that. And that makes it difficult for me. And when I say it takes a village, I've really learned the definition of it takes a village. It's not just you involved. You've got teachers, parents, friends, family, anyone that your child is involved with. It takes those people to back you up, and you need help sometimes because me personally, running around like a lunatic, I get caught up. So I get tired, and I get tired of having to stay on top of my child all the time. And that's what makes it really difficult. Hey, what's going on, Nixon? Thank you for joining. Eric, be sure to say something so I know that you're on, and definitely engage. I want to know what your parenting style is and how you deal with things, because it's definitely not an easy task, especially as a single parent. With two parents in the house, you have a little bit of a break. As you know, if you're a mom, you have the dad, wait until your dad gets home, or the dad, the mother is natural, she's the nurturing one, and the father is the one that puts the rules down and is the bad guy, I would think. But for me, it's everything. I'm all wrapped up into one person, and I always joke and say that my kid has 4 personalities. And she does. She's very strong-willed. If I let her run all over me, she will run the house. When she was in elementary school, they used to tell me that she would run the classroom. She tells everybody what to do, doesn't have a problem doing it, and everybody just falls in line. She's the boss. So I've kind of found myself accidentally explaining myself to her when she asks questions. She's a natural leader, but this is not the time for her to lead. I mean, I'll go out sometimes. She expects to know everything. She wants to know what I'm doing, who I'm out with, what time I'm coming home. She will actually call and check on me. And if you don't watch that, you get caught up. It's really easy, especially when you're an easygoing person and you don't seek out conflict. But at the same time, I have to remind myself that I'm the parent and I'm the one in charge. And I've had to tell her that a time or two, if she doesn't get her way, she'll run around to somebody else who she's visiting with, my mom or Tiffany, and she'll let me know that I was mean, and I have to remind her I'm the parent, that I'm in charge. So it makes it difficult. And I would love to hear how you guys discipline and how you parent. And, I thought that it was a cookie cutter type of thing. It's this way or it's that way. And I learned as she's gotten older that it is not. There's got to be discipline that fits the personality. What's going on, Valentine? We are talking about parenting this evening. And I actually found 4 parenting styles, and I could not, for some reason, say this word correctly. Authoritarian parenting. That is where parents establish rules and expect that child or children will follow them without exception. Children have no involvement in problem-solving challenges or obstacles. Instead, parents expect the children will follow all the rules all the time. Now, that's a dream. That's really living a dream right there. Because to expect obviously expectations and reality are 2 different things, but expecting your kids to really follow the rules all the time and just fall in line, I don't know many kids that do that. You said let them lose and learn. I do. I do sometimes, but I don't want her to learn from her own mistakes. I try to cut that learning curve. So I try to explain to her probably too much. I give her too much information, which gets her mind thinking of ways to manipulate it. That's what kids do. She's a very smart girl, but she tries to use that against me. I'll just give you an example. She knew the password in my phone. Because why? I said, how do you know that? I looked over your shoulder. I'm like, really? That's great if you're an investigator, but you're not an investigator and you don't need to know everything that I'm doing. So those are the types of things I deal with. She's a very smart girl, and I'm very happy that she's a leader, naturally. But at the same time, there's a checks and balance system, and at the age of 13, we don't need to have a leader. I'm the leader of the house. Hey, Kathy, what's going on? Thanks for joining. The second type of parenting style is, I said it was authoritative. Now it's authoritative. The authoritative parent, they also have rules that children are expected to follow. However, they allow some expectations to the rule. They often tell children the reasons for their rules, and they are more willing to consider a child's feelings when setting limits. I think I kind of fall in line with this. Authoritative parents tend to use consequences instead of punishment. I do fall in line with this. I always tell her there's a consequence. You can make the decision, but with every decision, you may have a consequence if it's the wrong decision. They also use more positive consequences to reinforce good behaviors. I don't know if I do that. I'm not much of I like rewarding good behavior and praise, but at the same time, I don't, there's a consequence. I was always taught there's a consequence to bad behavior, and you can choose to do whatever you want. You have decisions in life, but don't make the wrong decision because you're going to face the consequences. And we face something like that today. And she didn't finish something that I told her to do, and she got really angry with me when I told her she wasn't going to dinner. And she said that it's my fault because she didn't need to do anything, and I just got mad at her for nothing. But I explained to her very carefully that I had to explain to her what she did not do, and I had to get her to say the words because she wasn't getting it when I was telling her. So I asked her a series of questions. So the good way is better. Everything I do is because, the God way. Okay. What's going on, DJ? Thank you for joining. What's up, Corey? Sean, thanks for joining. Yeah, please chime in with your parenting techniques. I'd love to hear it. I use the reward system sometimes. I try to encourage her. Doing the right thing is going to get you where you want to be. Doesn't always work. Sometimes you're just not motivated enough, and I've got to use the consequences system. I've threatened her with taking her phone. I've even allowed her to choose her own consequences, and then she'll choose sometimes not so tough consequences, like, oh, I can't go outside, or I can't listen to music, and that doesn't work for me either. Hello, DJ. Thanks for joining, Scott. So I guess it depends on the child, the type of child you have, how stubborn they are, and how much they really care and they're motivated about certain things. I mean, it's a difficult situation. Like parenting is hard overall, but I'd say single parenting, you've taken on a double role, and that makes it, you've got, like I said before, you've got to be everything. As a teacher for at-risk kids, the less I say, the better in redirect. Yeah, redirecting is always good. I would say that's better for the younger kids, because once you hit a 13-year-old with redirection, she tends to redirect me. I have had conversations where she has circled me all the way around and I get confused. She's really, really good at that. She doesn't get the order of things make a difference, or maybe she does and she's using that against me. We had a situation where she asked me if she could go to my friend's house. And then she told me that my friend said, "Oh, well, I missed you. I want you to come over." And then I checked her on it and I said, "Did you ask her to come over?" Because she said, you wanted her to come over because you missed her. And she said, "Well, not really. She told me she was allowed to come over, and I told her that we missed her." And then that kind of got all jumbled up into, well, you said I could come over, and she did ask me to come over because she missed me. It just got to be a complete mess, and it gets really confusing. So she's really good at redirecting me. You said, Valentine said, younger, this kids are 16 to 24 with criminal backgrounds. Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know how to, I guess I could think about how to redirect a 13-year-old. I mean, you're kind of going towards something positive, but at the same time, she has a really good understanding for things. Positive reinforcement, no need to scream at them or hit your child. Corner time, 1 minute per year. If your child is 4, she would, okay, that sounds good. But again, I think it fits with your child. If your child's really stubborn, sometimes they just don't care. Like, there's no punishment sometimes. So there's just no punishment sometimes that's scary enough for them. I think my child sometimes has zero fear. And like, she's extremely stubborn. And I mean, I know I'm stubborn, but she's like, I don't care. We had a debate today. She's like, I don't want to talk to you. I said, oh, you're going to talk to me, because you're not going to get your way. And if you think just not talking to me is going to work, I said, I'll take everything out of your room. So we had a little debate this evening. Good old Texas, everything here is over there. What's going on, Ben? Thank you for joining. We are discussing parenting. We've been over the authoritarian and the authoritative. Now we're going to look at permissive parenting. Permissive parents don't offer much discipline. That is definitely not me. They tend to be more lenient and may only step in when there's a serious problem. They may have a few consequences for misbehavior because parents have an attitude of kids will be kids. That is true. Agree at no yelling. Well, I'm going to tell you, I am guilty of yelling. What's up, Jenna? Thank you for joining. We're talking parenting this evening. I'm guilty of yelling, and that's just the way that I do it. I try not to. I have really stepped back and tried. It has an amazing effect when you give them the crazy look and you say it in a really calm voice. That really tends to switch things up over here, because I think she doesn't know what to do. But I told her, as a crazy single mom doing 1,000 things at once, if she needs to get my attention, she needs to say, Mommy, I need to talk to you. Don't try to talk to me when I'm on the phone. Don't try to talk to me when I'm trying to do something or resolve an issue. You've got to get my attention. And I don't like multitasking, because that's a good way. If I'm on the phone, she'll get a yes, and I didn't really mean to say yes. You are very true, Valentine. Kids will model behavior. It's better to do as I do, not as I tell you to do. And again, I've tried to step back from that. It's hard. It's hard because you get so frustrated and you get tired, and you get too tired as a parent to even discipline. Because I just told her today, don't ask me again. She'll badger me 3 and 4 and 5 times to get her way, because she'll wear me down. She's a really good salesperson, and I hope that one day she is an amazing salesperson. You said real estate agent turned professor. No, I'm just talking about what I deal with. I like talking to other people, masterminding about parenting, so to speak, because it's hard, and running around like a crazy person trying to be everything to all people, it doesn't work. And David says, no yelling or hitting. Parents don't respect their kids, so kids don't respect. That is, I agree. I try to show her, though, this again comes from over-explaining things too much. I tell her too much information so she thinks she's entitled. But my rationale behind that is, maybe if you understand why I'm telling you now, then maybe you'll make a better informed decision. I used to do this when she was younger, and it probably made no sense to her. I would say, you need to zip up your coat because it's cold outside and you're going to get sick. That's a stupid example, but I'm just saying there's always a reason behind why I'm telling you to do it. Separate yourself from mom to be a great mentor. It's hard. Where's my chocolate? Where's my wine? Where's my wine? But it's hard because, like I said, when you're tired and you've dealt with 15,000 things already, and then your kid said, oh, I didn't finish that, but I didn't have to finish that because that was tomorrow's work. And it's not tomorrow's work, it's today's work. You just decided not to do it. And then it just like pile on. And it's like, oh, well, I'm going to wear you down. I'm just going to ask you 15 times and I'll get my yes because you don't feel like fighting with me anymore. And I gave her a strict rule today. I said, I'm going to tell you one thing. I have my rules for a reason. If you ask me after I already give you my answer, you will be punished. There's a consequence, and that's called disrespect. If you come and disrespect me and you say, after I told you no, and you want to badger me about my rules, you're disrespecting me. I said, it's like slapping me in the face. I tell you no, and you slap me again. You're trying to wear me down, and that's not going to work anymore. I said, so from now on, when I set a rule, don't ask me again because that's it. Then you will have a punishment, and you keep pushing, then you're going to have more and more. You're going to be in trouble more and more. So that's our new rule that I've just laid the line down for. I deal with 15 million things. Kids are our future, so I stop and give them. Yeah, and I try to give her my undivided attention too, but sometimes it's really hard because she'll come at me when I'm in the middle of something else, and that's the time she can get her way. Edgardo says, kids are sponges. They learn more from their mommy. Mommy is doing more than what they're saying. Yes, I agree. I totally agree. But again, I'm a human being, and it's really, really hard to remember that everything that you're doing, they're watching. But it's also funny. I try to include her in some of my business things. Like, I have her helping me put flyers out, which I think is a really good thing. It's teaching her way more than just one thing. But it's teaching her to work hard. And I also told her that any of the flyers that we get business from that she has helped me with, I will pay her for that. So she sees there's a reward for doing things and helping out, and also working. I try to teach her a good work ethic because if you don't work, nobody's just going to hand you stuff. So I'm really trying to pull back some of the things that I've given to her. And I think I've done it myself out of guilt because I feel bad that there's only me. There's only me. I'm the only one who can give you attention. And I'm absent, I'd say, in her life, or have been for a lot of her life because I've been working. And I feel guilty about that. And I've always had 2 or 3 jobs from the very beginning, and I missed all of those things. So I really am glad at this age of 13 that I was able to homeschool her and spend more time with her and really develop our relationship. But the more that you work, obviously, the less time you can spend with your child. But at the same time, you got to kind of have a good balance because it really makes things hard. So finding that balance is not easy. And my mom said, also remember, it's not easy to be a child of, oh no, I know it's not easy. She's got a crazy mom and she's got a crazy grandparent. So I know I stress her out. She stresses me out. I've heard people my brother told me that we fight like siblings, and that's not a good thing because I'm not her sibling. But to get the respect that I need from her is really, really hard sometimes because, again, I don't have that authoritative, heavy voice that is commanding and she's, nervous about. I just don't have it. And she questions me and then she knows how to work the system. She's really, really good at working the system. She'll ask or she'll tell me, oh, you see that comment, wasn't it? Her grandma's not crazy. Oh, okay, you're batshit crazy. Okay. Let's see. Valentine said, P.S. I haven't talked to my parents for 10 years, so I make sure to be better than them before. Well, and then there's that. There's the I've learned what kind of parent I want to be, and I don't want to repeat the cycle. And I think that's admirable of you, because a lot of people use that as an excuse. They say, well, I was abused, so this is all I know. And that's just crap to me. You don't have to repeat the cycle of things that you learned growing up. You can be a better person. You can break the cycle. You can learn what is good. And that's what I spend time doing. I know that there's no cookie cutter answer to being a good parent. I observe. I watch what everybody else is doing. I mastermind with people who have kids, and I really try to do better, and I do my Google searches, and I pick up books all the time because I want to be a better person. I'm not scared to say that we've been to counseling. It's very hard. I don't know sometimes what to say, and I get a different perspective than anyone else is going to get. So hearing a counselor say is like an unbiased, mutual, like a third party that can help you, think of things in a different perspective, because when you're smack in the middle of the shit, it's hard to see how you should best respond instead of reacting. My mom said most parents do the best they can with what they have at the time and where they are in their soul journey. I agree, you do the best you can, but always strive to be a better person. You don't have to accept what you know. And questioning why you're doing what you're doing is important too, because I know, you have certain traditions and you really don't know why you're doing them. Maybe it's time to question why. Are we just doing what we were taught and we don't really have a reason? Or are we actually learning what is the best thing to do? Valentine said, life is just a game. You get better at the rules the more you play. Yeah, I agree. The more tools that you have in your toolbox, the better you can be. And I strive to be a better person every day. So we have some new things that we have just implemented, and also that I'm going to look into carving out our time, just the two of us every day, and just creating little times. Like I was watching Chelsea and Martin Matthews this morning, and they were talking about working, and you can't enjoy time with your family if you're broke. And that's very true. I feel like if you don't step up and you don't do what you got to do, like if you don't do the deal's not going to be there. There is somebody else that's willing to do it. So sometimes you have to make sacrifices. And I don't have the other parent to back me up, and I don't have the other parent to help me. So I lean on family and friends more than anything. And I think that's where, again, it takes a village. You can't limit who your kid is exposed to. But you also have to choose the right people to be around your kid, and ones that really love your children the way you do. So let's see. We did permissive parenting. I think there's another one. And then there's the uninvolved. The uninvolved parent. This is the fourth type of parent. Uninvolved parent tends to be neglectful. They often do not meet their children's basic needs and may expect children to raise themselves. Sometimes this is due to a parent's mental health issue or substance abuse problem. They may also lack knowledge about parenting and child development, or may feel overwhelmed. Well, obviously, the permissive parent and the uninvolved parent are way out to the other side. You kind of want to be in the middle of the good, like the authoritative and the authoritarian, where you establish rules, but you also expect your kid to be a kid, but make sure that they know that there are rules, and, reward the good and punish the bad, but the bad doesn't have to be the end of the world. And I've tried to learn balance too, because I can be pretty harsh. But at the same time, I've been a mix of I wouldn't say uninvolved, and that's only due to the fact that I work so hard. But on the other side of it, I've tried to get involved so much that I know what's going on, and I don't let her go anywhere. I have a specific list of people's houses that she can go to. I always say there's only one chance, and I'm not taking that one chance with my kid, because she's too important. Once you screw up, it's done. You got to fix the problem, and I don't have that opportunity. I'm not going to go back and fix it. I'm just going to protect her as much as I can and make sure that I do the right thing. So I don't take those chances. I like to have the kids here, or she can go over to certain people's houses only. And I like to know who she's involved with. I like her friends knowing who I am, so they know that I'm not going to tolerate a bunch of crap. And that's just it. That's the way it is. So that's the way we do things here. You're bringing your friends here, or you're going to your small list of people's friend or the friends' houses. And I know their moms, and I know the way they parent, and that's the key. I want to know how they parent. And if they don't parent like I parent, you're not going over there. You're not hanging out, because I don't know what you're getting into. And that's the thing. I don't want you overexposed, and we don't have to be friends with everybody. That's just the way it is. We don't have to be friends with everybody. And I'm trying to teach her those rules. Like, you can be friends, you can get to know people, and you can have acquaintances. But the good friends, the really good friends, you're going to have your fights, and you're going to get over it, and you're going to move on. But they're going to always come back, because those are the people that you want to hang out with. But yeah, if you guys have anything else that you'd like to add or questions, chime in. But to wrap this up, it says, sometimes parents don't fit into one category. I know I don't. There may be times they are more authoritarian. I'm trying to get that word right. And times they tend to be more authoritative. And their discipline strategy varies from child to child. And that's what I was saying. It's not just your strategy. It's got to be adjusted to your kid's personality, because you may have a very stubborn, strong-minded leader that you're dealing with that has 15 personalities, and you have to adjust, because sometimes timeout just doesn't work for certain kids. They just don't care. Like, is this a joke? You're putting me in the corner? Do you think this hurts my feelings? I mean, we had a little kid when I was in high school. We had a little kid who talked about himself in the third person. He was like 4 years old, talking about Robert this and Robert that. I'm like, how did you learn to talk in the third person? So you've got to adjust the rules, let kids be kids. Don't take that away from them, but you've got to show them who's boss too. And like my cousin said, you're not their friend. No, you cannot be their friend, but you also want to make them feel comfortable that they can come and talk to you about anything. So that is my spiel for the evening. I really appreciate you guys jumping on, and we missed Tiffany. Nice to have her, nice to be on vacation. We're going on a cruise together next year. She went on a nice cruise this year, hitting all the hot spots, but I will be there next year. But thank you. I really appreciate you guys jumping on and spending your Tuesday evening with me. I'm about to do my home front episode next, so jump on over to that one. I have some tips for you about, what is it? The 5 tips or items that you need to replace or upgrade in every rental. So if you are an investor, you're going to want to watch that one. I'm doing that here. Give me about 2 minutes and I'll jump onto that. And please don't be selfish with the information. Share this out so you can let all your friends know. They may have kids. You never know. But I'll see you guys in a few minutes.